May 10th, 1865 is when Jefferson Davis is going to get arrested. Fucking Jefferson Davis. That piece of shit started a fucking massive war against the United States of America. He was against the Constitution, the three branches of government, the rule of law, hated democracy, hated the elections, hated the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, our civil liberties, to establish justice. No, not Jefferson Davis. He was a fascist. He was a fascist piece of shit through and through, a totalitarian fascist. All bowed down to the great Jefferson motherfucking piece of shit Davis. May 10th, 1865. He's going to get arrested on May 10th, 1865. In the dawn of May 10th, 1865, he was wearing a dress. He was in a skirt. He had makeup on. He had a wig. He was pretending to be a woman. He was trying to tiptoe. He was like Bugs Bunny, putting on a wig and pretending that he was just a woman. I'm just an old widow. Oh, Jeff Davis. I never seen no Jeff Davis. And then ran on right into the hands of the Federal Union Cavalry. A couple days prior, 7 days prior, May 3rd, a lot of shit happened. It happens in April and May in 1865. A lot of fucking shit. Lee surrenders. Petersburg falls. Richmond falls. Confederate capital falls. The Confederates are on the run. Lee surrendered. Johnston surrendered. They've all surrendered. Now it's just Jefferson Davis. Lincoln gets killed. Now it's Andrew Johnson. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? May 3rd, noon, Washington, Georgia. So Breckinridge, tried to keep troops. They were throwing their weapons away and deserting. Yeah, the Confederate fucking troops are sick of the fucking shit. Like, it was basically, it's over, motherfucker. Jesus Christ, you killed Lincoln, so everybody's all sad about that. It was a perfect life. Abraham Lincoln led a perfect life. Verena said that they should go with just one or two and cut loose from your escort. That Verena is actually a pretty good strategist. Instead of going with your little entourage, he had like 100 or 200 people. She suggested go with just one or two. He would be quicker, like a lightning bolt. Be able to. So Jefferson Davis, they were going to disband, cross the Mississippi River, join Kirby Smith to carry on the war in the West. Richmond, Barks, London banks. The banks of Richmond wasn't going to cash Jefferson Davis's checks anymore. No, Jefferson Davis, we will not cash your checks. But interesting how London banks and Richmond banks, they cashed the checks the entire time. So the Confederate soldiers are sick. They were actually conscripted. They were drafted. Jefferson Davis, let's see. So that's 12 hours right after they leave. He leaves with one wagon, 10 men, and an ambulance. So Jefferson Davis is in Washington, Georgia. He's being chased. He's the last motherfucker. He's the last white supremacist, terrorist, fucking rebelling against the United States of America motherfucker. We're trying to form a more perfect union here, Jefferson Davis. A more perfect union. We're establishing justice, domestic tranquility. Do you not understand basic fucking English? You pile of fucking shit. So Jefferson Davis has 10 men, one wagon, and one ambulance, which is interesting. Get the medical supplies, grab one wagon, 10 men. And they take off Washington, Georgia. And then 12 hours later, the Union arrives. 12 hours later, the federal troops arrive in Washington, Georgia. May 9th, 6 days later, you got a 150-man and 400-man team. Union going to converge upon Jefferson Davis. And what's fucked up is none of them, he don't shoot it out. He don't say, okay, I'm going to go down shooting or anything like that. Two of the Federals shoot each other. So the Union troops end up killing two of each other with friendly fire. Confederate rats didn't fucking shoot a single shot. Then they converge upon Jefferson Davis, and the wife, Verena, gets all scared and, no, not my husband. Shoot me if you wish. And, well, you know, that could be arranged, said the fucking troops. Well, old Jeff, well, we've got you at last, said Pritchard. So two of the Union soldiers are killed by friendly fire. They had 550 men that converged upon Jefferson Davis. He only had a tiny little fucking 11-man team, but it only took what, like a 5-man team to kill the president, which is Jesus fuck. You know, where the hell was John Frederick Parker? Where the hell was U.S. Grant and Edwin Stanton? Where was any of the bodyguards, Secret Service, police? Where were any of them? Mary fucking Todd. I wonder if she set the whole thing up. Homeowner points gun at the cops. One, let's see, seems to suggest she picked up the gun and started firing at the police. Oh, yeah, that's something else. That one video, New Mexico, they're trying to say, like, the cops show up to the fucking house, they're laughing and having a good fucking time, and they go to leave, and as they go to leave, then the fucking guy comes out and just starts firing. How the fuck were they supposed to know? You're the cops, you went to the wrong fucking spot, right? You went to the wrong fucking area. And then they were walking away, they were laughing, like, what the hell are you doing there? I would be confused too if I'm the homeowner. I guess the only thing that could have been done a little bit better, you know, instead of opening the door as they were walking away, is just hang out in the wings. Hang out in the side of the house. Hang out on the second floor and be looking up the window. Behind some, you know, piece of metal. Have a bulletproof vest on. But that's something else. We'll have to talk about that in a second. Let's talk about a little bit who is Jefferson Davis. 10-to-1 soldiers. You know, when it comes to the Civil War, you got the big business, the industry, the manufacturers. They're on one side, the union. And then you had the working class people, the regular peasants, the poor masses yearning to breathe free, also for the union. And the only people that was for the Confederates were the bunch of fucking white supremacist, wicked sons of bitches, piles of fucking goddamn garbage. Motherfuckers who say, hey, your skin color is different than mine, so I'm going to have build an entire motherfucking system based upon that. Because you have a slight different complexion, your pigment isn't as bright or as brighter than the... What are you talking about? Jefferson Davis used to be an American. He was a West Point graduate, fought in the Mexican War, so... Yeah, great. We gave him his fucking war career and shit. Gave him his goddamn political career. And this is the thanks that you give us, Jefferson fucking Davis, pile of shit. He's a fascist fuck. He's fighting for the 1%. He wants, not only does he want the South to all obey him in a military dictatorship, but he wants the plantations, the 1%, to maintain the institution of slavery. So all the plantations is fascism. The police and the military fucking, it's all fascism. He's a fascist fucking racist pile of shit. Confederate inflation goes up to 6,000%. They're in debt $700 million. We can't cash your $28,000 check. No, sirree, Bob. He actually takes $500,000 as a Confederate treasury. When Jefferson David runs away, he's got golden nuggets and double eagles and silver bars and Mexican coins. When you add all the Mexican coins and double eagles and silver bars and golden nuggets, $500,000. That's how much the Confederate treasury is. The soldiers are going to get their piece of the treasury because it's like, well, shit, Jefferson Davis, if you get arrested, I mean, what's going to happen with that money? Don't you owe us soldiers a little bit of fucking pay? When they went and told Jefferson Davis that Richmond was going to fall, he was praying at St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Richmond, Virginia, April 2nd. So April 1st, 1865, U.S. Grant is going to break through at Five Forks. Five Forks, oh shit, Petersburg's going down. Richmond's next. The night they drove old Dixie down. Lincoln's going to get killed April 14th. He's going to die the 15th. Shot 10:12 p.m. on April 14th, 1865. Dies 7:22. April 15th, the next day, April 1st, 1865. Lee protected Richmond from 3 federal armies, but U.S. Grant broke through at Five Forks. So they're coming. April 2nd, he's sitting in a pew. Jefferson Davis is at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Is that the speaking of the tongues? I don't understand these fucking Protestant, Baptist, Catholics, fucking... I'm sick of these religious piles of fucking shit. Speaking of the tongues, oh, we're possessed by God. No, that motherfucker, listen to you. Talking of the tongues, motherfuckers, you're possessed by the devil. Had to leave church service rather abruptly. Well, that damn Jefferson Davis had to leave church rather abruptly. And then Richmond's going to fall April 3rd, 1865. So the message did get to Jefferson Davis pretty quick. But interesting, fucking Robert E. Lee is out in the field fighting, you know, with his troops like a good general. And Jefferson Davis is just sitting at church. He's trying to be like Lincoln, like, pretending that it's all just hunky dory and just going for strolls along the fucking, way. Oh, just gonna go for a nice little walk down Battle Lane. Yeah, down War Weary Lane, sure. Richmond falls. Petersburg falls. Lee sends word to Jefferson Davis, we can't protect Richmond anymore. Petersburg is 25 miles south of Richmond. The night they drove Old Dixon down. And then Lee is going to surrender at the Appomattox. All is lost. And then John Wilkes Booth kills Abraham Lincoln. Well, shit. All the other Johnston and the generals all gave up. But now you just got Jefferson Davis. All eyes on Jefferson Davis. Just him. Just Jefferson Davis. Maybe if he wore a sexier skirt, maybe if he put on, did his makeup a little bit better. Don't be a makeup monster, Jefferson Davis. You just want to accentuate your natural features. You don't want to. Jeff said to send the wives and all the children southwest. Okay, Confederates. And he was acting like, we're still going to fight the war. We're going to go west and we're going to keep the cause going. And basically everybody around him was like, no, Jefferson Davis, we're not. Kirby Smith is still out in the West. Whatever happened to Edmund Kirby Smith? He might be the other fucking... And then, of course, you're going to have a fucking shit ton of white supremacists all over the fucking country. Greenbacks conquered script. Hey, you got that Confederate script? Yeah, well, fuck you. Where's that greenback dollar? I want that Abraham Greenback dollar. Verena, Jeff, Maggie... Vereen auctioned silvered horses, auctioned their silver and their horses. They got $28,000. The bank wouldn't cash a check. Liquor was poured out. Once Richmond fell, it was goddamn pandemonium. Richmond fell, and then all the criminals were fucking running around, the hobos and the poor folks, and anybody and everybody kind of grabbing what they can. Liquor was poured out, but then they were drinking the liquor that was poured out. Then there was a big explosion, and they were like, oh shit, the Union's on their way. The state prison had their doors open. The criminals ran free. I wonder how many political prisoners were in there. And an entire business district in Richmond burnt down too. But I heard that was actually just the wind. It wasn't even like intentionally burnt down. It was just something happened. There was an explosion. Then the fucking wind was just so damn feisty that day. So fierce. The fierce wind blew the... Abraham Lincoln walked through Richmond like a boss, like a private citizen, not like a conqueror, not with bitterness in his heart, but with kindness. Abraham Lincoln's going to sit in Jefferson Davis's presidential chair, order a glass of water. Give me a glass of water. Immediately got it. Lee's surrender. Jeff wasn't going to quit. Better for the Confederacy to keep organized armies of men in the field than surrender, than trust in the magnanimity of the victor. Yeah, Jefferson Davis, I feel like in terms of being a military man, he did have the fucking, the whole all calls was on him. He was the commander-in-chief of military operations. So he was the dictator. But there was a Union had all the soldiers, all the working class, and all the big business, and the Confederates just had a bunch of evil, wicked, white supremacist, fucking racist piles of shit that wanted to goddamn maintain the peculiar institution. Yeah, peculiar in fucking deed. It was oppression, and it was violent oppression, and it was a white supremacist dictatorship. Even if a black man was able to run off the plantation, if he ran into town, he could not go anywhere. A black man could not go anywhere in the South in the Confederacy. He runs, to the grocery store, post office. He goes into town. He goes out in the woods. He lives inside his home. He's not allowed to exist. He is property, and he is property of, Jim Beam Incorporated, who the fuck ever. And then the lowly layman, why would the, poor white, why would they go along with white supremacy? You don't benefit from that. You don't benefit. They get all the good jobs. How do you don't benefit? The only way a poor white male benefits from white supremacy, a white supremacist dictatorship, is that he gets to feel better than a group of people. And that's it. He gets to feel superior. Hey, don't look at me, boy. How about you don't look at me, boy? You motherfucking boy me, motherfucker. Get the hell out of here with that bullshit, motherfucker. Fucking cracker ass. Cracker's government was closed on Sunday. Heads of departments and bureaus burned documents, tobacco, and cotton. $500,000. They got the fuck up out of Dodge. Yeah, we got to burn all the tobacco and cotton. We got to burn the documents and the tobacco and the cotton. Did you burn the tobacco and cotton? Did you dump out the liquor? Good. I mean, in some respects, deprive them of the fucking use of this shit. But motherfucker, grab whatever liquor you can and get the hell on out of there. What the fuck you doing trying to... Well, we don't want them smoking tobacco. Yeah, you do. Actually, why did you burn the tobacco? You should have rolled them into cigarettes and then passed them out for free. That would be brilliant. So Jefferson Davis wasn't going to quit. He thought that run around with an army of men in the field was better than surrender. Instead of just trusting in the magnanimity of the victors, the trust you. No way, Jefferson Davis says. Mobile's going to fall. 12 passenger cars, engine blew, Union burned bridge. Jefferson crossed it in the nick of time. Just in the nick of time. Dansville, Greensboro, North Carolina. Grant Sherman had 350,000 troops. Johnston had 25,000 troops. So Johnston, I thought he had 86,000 troops. I mean, what, 25,000, 86,000? Grant and Sherman had, 350,000 troops. So, Jesus Christ, there wasn't going to be even a... The Confederates didn't stand a chance. I mean, the evil motherfuckers were on the Confederate side, right? Because today, big business is the Republicans and the working classes, so the Democrats are historically, right? Liberal Democrats for the working class people, for the unions, for, that which helps the minimum wage, that which helps the working man and big business is the Republicans traditionally. But during the Civil War, big business and working class were both on the side of America, on the side of the Union, on the United States of America's side. They were both on the side of Abraham Lincoln, President Lincoln, in the United States of America. Jefferson Davis was going to go to Mississippi, then head on to Mexico. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. Johnston and Sherman reached an agreement, but Lincoln's going to get killed. Lincoln had convened a cabinet meeting, actually, with U.S. Grant, April 14th, the day that he gets killed. So Lincoln had talked to Colfax, and he talked to U.S. Grant. He talked to a number of people before he got killed at 10:12 p.m., April 14th, 1865. Oh, Captain Johnston and Sherman reached an agreement. Andrew Johnson, with Stanton's advice, rejected the agreement. So that's actually ballsy. Andrew Johnson comes in like a beast. I mean, he hangs 4 fucking co-conspirators, right? He gets goddamn Jefferson Davis, arrests him, is going to put him on trial for treason. And then with this Johnston and Sherman, they reached an agreement. I mean, what was the agreement that wasn't, to their liking, but basically because they knew that the Confederacy was licked, they were going to push for an even tougher agreement. No, we're not going to give you anything. How about this, Johnston? We give you nothing. You give us unconditional surrender, and if you don't like that, well, in 48 hours, the truce is over. So I think Johnston is going to agree to the new terms. Okay, mister, sorry. Basil W. Duke is going to be the one that breaks it to Jefferson Davis. Sorry, Jefferson Davis. They said, well, why'd you ride with me for so long? And he said, well, I just wanted you to be arrested as a president and not as a fugitive. And when Basil W. Duke had broke the news to him, he basically, all was indeed lost. Jefferson Davis finally realized that his face goes white as a ghost. All is indeed lost. And then the rebel soldiers all asked for their fair share of the treasury. Now, about that gold. Now, how about that gold? You got that gold, right? How about that gold? So, July 7th, 1865 is when 4 of Abe's assassins are going to get hung. John Wilkes Booth is going to get shot 11 days or 9 days afterwards and then die 11 days afterwards. And then his last words are useless, because they asked him to lift up his hands. He looked at his hands and said, useless. He got shot by Boston Corbett. Boston Corbett was a Union soldier. He was in a tobacco barn. The barn was burning, and he said that John Wilkes Booth pointed a gun at him, so Boston Corbett put one in his neck, broke 3 vertebrae, severed his spine, made him paralyzed. So John Wilkes Booth was paralyzed, but it took 12 days. It took 12 days to get the person that had murdered the damn president. That's over a week, 12 days. And then it was pretty well confirmed that it was that actor It was Adam Sandler, Sarah Silverman. It was goddamn Forrest Gump. 1862, Willie died of the fever. Goddamn, Mary Todd Lincoln has to be the worst first lady ever. Hey, Mary Todd Lincoln, what are you going to do for the being a first lady? Well, I'm going to watch one of my children die, and then I'm going to watch my husband die, and I won't fight back. I'll scream, but I won't do anything. Actually, I distracted him, and I may have actually loose lips sink ship, said too much, and opened the door up. April 14th. Abraham Lincoln is going to get assassinated, killed on Good Friday, just like Jesus Christ. Just like Jesus Christ. Abraham Lincoln is the ideal hero for any good person in the world. Frank Leslie's Illustrated Newspaper 100% believe the theater shooting. The barn shit, I don't know. But him, the whole thing. He had one pistol, one shot in the pistol, one shot in the back of the head. Fights with Henry Rathbone, his sick Semper Tyrannis, falls down the curtain, runs out the back alley. South has been avenged. They had a bloody knife. All the shit at the theater, I believe, but what happened at that barn, I don't know. I don't know what happened at that barn. Is it John Wilkes Booth's body? I do believe it is his body. Like 19 of 20 people said it was. He had a lot of distinctive marks. Also, it's John Wilkes Booth. Is that Tom Hanks, or is that a Tom Hanks body double? Holy fucking shit. Colfax, 8 p.m. It's almost like he said goodbye to Colfax at the very end. The Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House was trying to get rid of the Secretary of State and the Vice President. Is that possible? Because if the three conspirators, John Wilkes Booth, Lewis Powell, and George Atzerodt, if they would have completed what they were going to do, because there was a small conspiracy, but if Andrew Johnson, William Seward, and Abraham Lincoln all got killed, that would make Colfax, Schuyler Colfax would become the president. He declined the invitation to the Ford's Theater, and he was headed to California. Oh, how convenient, Schuyler Colfax. Colfax said no. U.S. Grant said no. Edwin Stanton said no. Stanton said he wasn't going to support the theater project. May 10th is when Jefferson Davis gets captured, but all this is going to happen. He got killed April 14th. So April 14th, Lincoln gets killed. 12 days later, John Wilkes Booth is killed. And then, now we're at April 26th. April 26th, and then another 2 weeks later, Jefferson Davis is going to get arrested. A lot of fucking shit. A lot of fucking shit. So, stupid, three-person hit idea. It didn't make sense because if you're trying to wipe out the U.S. government, you would make sure you aim for the Speaker of the House because the line of succession includes the Speaker of the House. So, to kill the Secretary of State doesn't make any sense. Whoever gave him that idea, or if that was his idea, John Wilkes Booth, of taking out the U.S. government, he messed up. He didn't understand the line of succession. And the reason why I mention all that is because it could very well be Schuyler Colfax. He's the Speaker of the House. He benefits the most if both of them are taken out. It was a major blow to America, but it's not going to take America out. It gets rid of one branch, two branch, but still one branch survives. Lee surrenders, Johnston surrenders, Jefferson's captured, arrested, jailed. The Confederates' best friend was Lincoln. That's probably one of the worst things that could have happened to the Confederates because essentially the war was already won by America. The Confederates had already lost, and just a few things, needed to happen. More surrenders and Jefferson Davis arrested. Eventually that got happened. But Lincoln had already won. He had already taken the Confederate capital. He had already got Lee to surrender, the main military army. It was only a matter of time for the rest of the Confederates to surrender. Lincoln said of the Confederates, let them up easy. Lincoln thought of the Confederates as brothers. No, now they are our brothers. We conquered them. We licked them good. And we're going to let them up easy. His Reconstruction plan was just 10% of the population just had to give a loyalty oath. Do you love America and always swear to fight for America? I do. I swear. Okay, well, now you're an American. That's it? After all the shit that we. So killing Lincoln was one of the worst fucking things the Confederates could have fucking did. He was, capitulative. He was capitulative. He was basically welcome back to the family. Sorry we had to beat the shit out of you for a minute. Sorry we had to beat the shit out of you for 4 years, but welcome back to the family. Thomas Eckert. Stanton, No to the Theater Project, Lafayette Square. Apparently there's 18 pages missing in the diary. Carriage make, Atzerodt to kill Andrew Johnson at the Kirkwood Hotel. The 4th Michigan Cavalry. So don't ever say Michigan is a bunch of worthless piles of shit. Because in 1865, the 4th Michigan Cavalry captured Jefferson Davis, arrested him. He was disguised in women's clothing. He actually just had like a shawl. And some people say that Verena just threw the shawl over him to kind of conceal him, but also because it was cold. He was wearing his wife's black shawl and her underwear and bra. So Jefferson Davis is just like J. Edgar Hoover. He is a cross-dresser. He is just like Donald J. Trump and that Giuliani character. That Giuliani goofball. Who's that Giuliani goofball? U.S. Grant, after Abraham Lincoln was shot and killed, said that Abraham Lincoln incontestably was the greatest man he's ever known. And then somebody said, that's one for the ages or something. Well, that's one for the ages. So those are just some quotables of, what some people said when Lincoln was shot. 4th Michigan Cavalry, disguised in woman's clothing, was putting on makeup. Loved to put on makeup in women's clothing. Was wearing his wife's underwear when he was arrested. Now, do we want to talk about fascism? Yeah, let's talk about fascism. There was a Daniel Bessner interview. He's trying to say that fascism is now meaningless because people just use fascism whenever the fuck they feel like it, just to insult people. I've never heard anybody use fascism ever to anybody. What kind of circles are you motherfuckers? I have never ever heard anybody be like, you fascist. I've seen it in movies, but I've never seen anybody ever call anybody a fascist. Maybe because I grew up in Kentucky or something. I don't fucking know. But a fascist is a violent authoritarian. A fascist is a violent bully. There's very much a particular definition of what a fascist is. And we need the word fascist. Somebody that says, do as I say or else violence is going to happen. No, that's like the cops. That's like abusive parents. It's kind of like religion and public schools, corporations and government, right? The state, the nation state. It's like they say, do A, B, and C. And if you don't do A, B, and C, then they're going to use violence in order to force your compliance. So that's what fascism is. It's a violent hierarchy, a violent, anti-competent hierarchy. Fascism is different than Nazis. Nazis were fascists, but you have different, Mussolini was a fascist, and the National Socialist was a fascist. So when this guy, Daniel Bessner, I guess I can only make a couple of points, the biggest points, Jefferson Davis. That's what we're focused on right now. There's something called leftist fascism. And to me, leftist fascism is you're a man. You're a man. You're a rock. You have backbone. And you hang out and you're chill. You're not a criminal piece of crap. You're not, some kind of oppressor. You're not a predator. You just laid back and chill. You mind your own business. And you work on your own stuff. And when something goes down, then you stand up for the bullshit. But you don't all the live long day. A damn fascist is just an authoritarian pile of shit. All the live long days, they're just fucking acting like they're better and above you. Go obey them or else they're going to hurt you. Racists are authoritarian fascists. A lot of cops, terrorists, criminals, gangsters, sovereigns. Obey the king or else violence will happen to you. So it's important to use definitions precisely. Now, that's been a good definition and nobody uses that definition, but that's very important to use. Leftist fascism is a right to self-defense. And we have a right to self-defense. We have a right to revolution. It comes from nature. It comes out of the Constitution. So Jefferson Davis, fuck you. I won't